dresses of different designs and style. Evening dresses for any event. At Jolomel Clothing, your style is in your hands. Check our casual men's sportswear, tailored to suit your fashion sense. Matching suits for that new and lovely couple. African suits for any traditional wedding. We have fashion photo kits as well. Dress slipper for men for any purple suit. Jolomel Clothing, the fashion house that is full of style and a sense of glamour. Jolomel Clothing, call 0777-644-644 or 0886-556-865 for any information. Jolomel Clothing, we make you a celebrity.
Thank you so much, Jolomel Clothing. We make you a celebrity. The Liberian Lone Star is down 2-0 just in 22 minutes. South Africa, Bafana up. And Councillor Tiawan Gongloe has joined us. I don't know what you want to break that news. But anyway, Fanny, let's start.
Well, it's not surprising to me.
It is surprising to you?
No.
When you be president, what you do?
Well, you know, I mean, we need to establish football academy. We need to train people.
Just get the microphone.
We need to put some money in there. And you can say anything about Samuel Doe, but you have to give him the credit for raising the profile of football in this country. He was not a football player, at least not a professional football player. And when he was president, he created so many international players, including the president in power now, Salensa, Joe Nangwe, Christopher Ray. You can just name them, because he put money into football, and he also motivated them. He used to put them in an open top car and take them to the airport, to the football field with himself driving.
Wow. And
don't forget, he was the one that built the football stadium. That it was under administration that the football stadium was built. Topper had decided that program, the place was there, but it was under those administration, and he did a lot for football in this country. Contradictorily, the person in power now is a football hero without any dispute. Maybe he was world best without going to World Cup, but under his administration, football has suffered a lot in this country. Of the 4 minority young countries, only Liberia did not qualify for the Cup of Nations last year. That for me is a failure. Under his administration, the STT stadium was declared but you see, so the question I usually ask myself for his supporters who say, come hell or high waters, he has to go second time, is that the man is feeling his area of expertise. Do you expect him to excel in the area of health, education, food production, road maintenance and building more roads, and doing other things that are good for this country? I said no, because the area where we expected him to excel was his area of expertise. You can believe this, that during 2017 election, many people were saying, Messi will come and play here, Ronaldo will play. I heard the young people saying that there will be European League, top teams in the European game will be playing here, and they will see them on the football field. They haven't had the opportunity to do. But anyway, that's not why you called me.
Okay, that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, fine.
That's beautiful. But Council, let's begin from your Jerusalem. How's the LPP?
LPP is doing great. It's becoming a rising star among the political parties. LPP is an old party, started in the early 1980s. It was founded by some of the political giants in this country, headed by the late Professor Emosai was a founding chair, and many of the people who are now active in other political parties actually were trained by Moja, LPP, and the affiliated organizations like Student Unification Party and other progressive student organizations. Gradually, we are calling them back, and they are building the ranks of LPP, and I can see that before election, LPP would be a formidable force to compete with, because the folks in LPP are and understand the issues, and they know the analysis, they know the history of this country, they know how to contextualize and everything. So, yeah, we are moving. You can see that. You can see that for the first time in the history of Liberia, this candidate of the Liberian People's Party is doing something that has never happened in the history of this country. I've gone to over 243 towns. It takes a lot of strength to do that. Because power belongs to the people. You want it for them, you got to go to them and talk to them, convince them to give you power to shape their lives.
An old age progressive party, you've been around the block for far too long. Why the Liberian president this time? Why you see the need to represent the people?
Well, I've said it on this radio station, other programs, I think, Cllr program and Cllr Jackson, that, hey, you know, Albert Einstein said the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them do evil without doing anything. As a Liberian, I cannot sit to see my country going down that I've been advocating for a long time, going to jail and all of that, advocating for human rights, rule of law, and good governance. That today Liberia is virtually in the ICU, you know, in an intensive care unit, virtually. And if we let it, I'll be guilty of what Albert Einstein talked about. When I see my country going down and not doing anything, this country, the citizens of this country who voted in 2017 committed child abuse. You do not give You do not give £100 bag of rice to a 10-year-old boy to carry. Politically, they committed child abuse. There was nothing in the current president's past that prepared him to carry the load of a country that has gone through coup d'etat, war, and all of that, you know. And so all of the difficulties that we are facing are difficulties that nobody put on us, but the voters themselves put it on Liberia. You know, this country is a naturally rich country, and we are poor by choice. Because on election day, we'll vote for bags of rice, money, and jolly, and not think about the plans of those who want us to vote for them. And so we make wrong choices. So we are suffering, we are experiencing poverty by choice, not that our country is extremely poor.
There's this part of the argument that the Liberians across this country hold strongly that oftentimes politicians will come to you with the beautiful conversations and point in different directions at the reasons for the problem of this country. When they are elected, they reverse the wheel back to backwardness by engaging into acts of corruption. What made Gongloe a very new and different president?
Well, I'm transformational, and I match my words by my actions, and that has been. Let me give you a few examples of my track record in public service. So, I became Solicitor General under President Selig. Before I became Solicitor General, I was one of those very critical of quack lawyers serving in the legal profession and even at the level of government. And some of them were county attorneys, you know, who had not been to law school. So when I became Solicitor General, I was the first Solicitor General since 1847 to transform prosecution, to bring only law school graduates as county attorneys in the 15 counties before I left that job. I saw that there was a need to create a special division of the prosecution department at the Ministry of Justice for prosecuting rape and other sexually based violence cases. And so I recommended in my 2007 Solicitor General report, annual report, that we needed to establish an SGBV section. I was there as Solicitor General when that recommendation was accepted, when the budget line was created for it, and I was asked to recruit the people to man that department, and along with other officials of the Ministry of Justice, we recruited Councillor Felicia Como from Associate Justice to be the first head of that department, based on her experience, at least to set the tone. And then we got Attorney Sheriff and other young lawyers who work on her. And I'm very happy today that that department has become a very big department. They're doing the level best in prosecuting rape and other cases. Then I went to Ministry of Labor. Once I did that, I think I achieved, I accomplished what I wanted, because now prosecution was moving. So I went to Ministry of Labor, and when I was being vetted by the Liberian Senate, I was asked a question: why will Councillor Gongloe be a better labor minister? I said, I believe in liberalization, and I want to focus on the liberalization aspect of the labor law. I said, there are too many non-Liberians doing jobs that Liberians are qualified to do. And when I get to Ministry of Labor, I'll make sure that that situation changes. I can tell you, before I left the Ministry of Labor, I issued Regulation 17 with approval of the President that increased the work permit fee from $400 to $1,000. And as soon as I did so, some employers who were employing 50 non-Liberians dropped their employment level to 20. The records are there. And those who were stubborn and who still wanted to employ non-Liberians, it's okay, then you pay for it. You pay $1,000. While I was at Ministry of Labor, we're getting increment in the number of Liberians employed by different companies, of course, because they pay them lower than they pay the foreign staff, foreign employees, because they have obligation to send them back, for vacation, to pay their ticket, to give them housing, all that. That type of obligation you don't have for a Liberian employee. So they employ more Liberian employees. But still, for the first time, the Ministry of Labor raised $6 million during my administration. Labor Ministry used to raise up to $500,000 maximum, but when I issued Regulation number 17, the Ministry of Labor immediately became Economic Ministry, and they brought a banking window to the Ministry of Labor. As I speak to you today, you go to the Ministry of Labor, you see a banking window there. It was brought under my administration. And now when they are budgeting, they capture what will come from Ministry of Labor. That was transformation. So it was a win-win situation with more Liberians getting jobs, but also Liberian government getting more revenue. It was under my administration that the new labor law that is called Decent Work Act was completed. It started under the administration of Minister Kofi Woods, and I completed it and submitted it to President Cllr before I resigned from government.
Opposition victory in 2023 on October 10 is going to be a defining day for you people. The opposition, political leaders. She mentioned Joseph Boaka, Cummins, the leg of Tiawan Gongloe. All of you have to amalgamate forces, under one umbrella to seat the incumbent Judge Weah. In the face of her call, do you see hopes? Are there hopes for opposition victory on October 10?
I respect Nobel laureate Lima Bowie. In fact, I have a unique relationship with her because at least I had a chance, an opportunity to teach her when she was at Mother Patton. So when I want to elevate myself, I would say I taught people like Lima Bowie, to show the contribution that we made to this country. But I think people have to be careful when they are making such conclusive statements, because unscrupulous people can ride on that. A government that wants to conduct fraudulent election will carry on fraudulent election and justify it at the end of the day and say, did you hear people say because if the opposition party did not come together that the ruling party was going to win? And then people say, oh yeah, even they say so. So what's the argument now that the ruling party has won? I say that statement is not based on any study. it is an opinion, it's not a research-based statement. So I, I don't go by that. It would be a good thing for us to have a two-party situation, right? A two-horse race, um, like in United States, like in Sierra Leone, there are other parties, but it's SLPP and APC, and Nigeria had P, but
they have the Labour Party LP. They have
yeah, but for a long time it has been APC and PDP, right?
PDP.
And then Ghana is having NDC and NPP.
Yeah.
Okay, so but these things evolved, right? We hope that there will be an evolution and one day we'll reach that point. But I say that, you know, in Liberia, the voters usually vote for the individual, not the political parties. That's what I know. I mean, because parties are not actually being institutionalized. They don't have ideological differences, you know. So they look at individuals. So, for example, Unity Party was down. I mean, but Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came, and it is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that elevated Unity Party. And if Joseph Boakai, a former vice president, had not run on Unity Party and had exited along with President Sirleaf, I don't think that Unity Party will have remained a stronger party. We can see with with NDPL and even NPP that now had to go to form a coalition ruling party. Tree Party is down. So we don't have strong political institutions. We have individuals that drive political parties, that provide chances for political parties to win. So, and somebody say collaboration. Look, I did a study of the elections 2005, 2011, 2017, and in some cases you can put like 10 parties together and they will not get 6% of the votes. You put 10 parties and some will get 0.022, you know, 0.13, 0.5. If you add all those 0.0 together, even though there are 10 political parties, assuming that those political parties came together at one party, they will still get less than 7%. So when they talk about individuals coming together, I don't believe in collaboration that is based on personality. Because you see, as you never heard me say one day George Weah had to be a one-term president. You know, the only objective is to get George Weah out of power. I don't talk like that. I say what I can do better, right? So, because let's be careful. If we keep arguing this person has to go and that's the only objective, then the person leaves, and then you get a worse situation after that. People get discouraged, and if we are not careful, we could invalidate or undermine the democratic system that we're trying to build, because people will lose interest in the electoral process. Let people put their plans. Let's compete. Let's see which plans are better for Liberia. Let us collaborate on, at least agree on what the issues are, what the Liberian problems are, what are the challenges for development. Let us also agree on a way forward. When we agree on a way forward, it's even easier to find who can lead the process. But, you know, and I thought that was the kind of discussion that could have happened 2 years ago. Right now, all the political parties have legislative candidates already. You know, doing outreach, sort of pseudo campaign. Everybody's saying go out to vote, and the pictures are all out there. So it's like the planes have taken off from the airport, and they are going in different directions right now.
Okay.
Because for you to say 2 or 3 parties come together now, you have to be negotiating with the legislative candidates, some of whom are contributing to these parties now, and do some horse trading. Oh, okay, but then you don't put a candidate in this district, all right? Well, and that takes time.
Certainly. Certainly. President George Weah departed Liberia most recently for the United States of America. There are speculations growing in the public that the president is being investigated by CIA. What does the Constitution say about citizen right to know, and how is this speculation having an impact on our nation?
But if you read, I think it's the analyst today.
Okay.
I'm very clear that because I spoke at CEO yesterday in the presence of several journalists, one may have come from here, to say, as a citizen of Liberia, I have a right to know where is my president and what is he doing wherever he's going to. Article 15C gave him that right as a citizen. The Article 15C says that the citizens of Liberia have a right to know about their government and its functionaries. And the most important functionary of the government of Liberia is the president. When he leaves this country, we pay for his trip. You know, we do everything. And he's 24 hours president. He has no time for himself. By law, that's why he's immune. You know, nobody can take him to court while he's president because 24 hours he's president. When he goes anywhere, we should know. That is why it takes the Senate to approve his trips, because you know what I mean. So, but this other trip is shrouded in secrecy. I don't know, maybe journalists have heard a lot about it. And then the president, I still call it speculation, or to a front page Africa come with pictures to show CIA and all of that. But I have to be cautious because as a lawyer, you know, we live in an electronic age. People can even do voice, want more pictures, you know. So, but I want to hear the government either confirm that story or come up with its own story or what the purpose for the trip to, if you went to America indeed, if you went to Virginia, Langley, Virginia, why? We want to know because it's unprecedented. I did economics in school. I have a degree in economics and in law, but I read history more than those areas because you know history helps us to make less mistakes because you don't want to repeat the mistakes that other people have made. That's why I told the government the other day, why are you talking about banning student politics? A happy honor do, it didn't work. A happy honor Taylor, it didn't work. Students will never allow repression of their right, you know, stopping them to participate in political activities when they are learning political science, learning sociology, learning history. No, you never stop them. You know, it's like stopping a volcano. It's not possible. So you know, we have a right to know. It is our right. It is not a privilege. The president is so because it is our right. The president is under obligation. The government is under obligation to inform us of every movement of the president.
Certainly. Let's move on Capitol Hill. You know, chip it right, but I'd like to bring it in full glare. You are campus where you go to teach students there, teach law, and help to make this society a very better one. Most recently was a scene of pandemonium. Students there were flogged and some sustained severe injury as a result of a member of the legislature who are going to have lunch. What does this? What's a signal? Is it sending for our democracy? As a lawyer, what's your readings about the situation?
You know, the word honorable is not used loosely. It is meant for the person who is called honorable to depict that fully in his or her demeanor, the way that person speaks, the way the person conducts himself or herself, all of that in a dignified way, in an honorable way. But I said it on this station, Clarence Johnson showed that the person who bears full responsibility for the chaos on campus is Honorable Akaris Gray.
Why?
He planned it. People told him of the danger. They knew that there would be chaos. Even members of his own party, Dr. Lester Tanning, all these people call him, don't go there. The pretended reason for going was that he was going to have lunch. The university announced that all the entertainment centers were closed. So that took the motive away. The reason for going was taken away. So the real motive was to challenge the university students that others have gone there and have been bullied and been humiliated, and that he could go there and defy the students, and if there was anything he could withstand the challenge or counter them. And many journalists explain, many onlookers explain that those who were on the campus were in a belligerent way. They actually went there prepared
For violence.
for violence. So when you do something knowingly, I teach criminal law, and one of the aspects of holding you criminally liable is that you are doing something on purpose, you are doing it knowingly, intentionally, and all of that. Willingly, that nobody pushing you. So what happened was what he expected to happen. And I don't know why his colleagues are not holding him accountable for what he did. He's not excused. Under the law, a lawmaker is immune from just limited immunity. You cannot be arrested when you are going to section and coming from section. But when you commit breach of peace, you see, peace is so important. And the Constitution says you commit breach of peace, you can be arrested as a lawmaker. All right? If you commit felony, you can be arrested. If you commit treason, you can be arrested. And obviously, you are not going to section. There was no need for what he did. And I strongly believe what he did might lead to him not being re-elected. Because nobody wants violence. I got reminded, I was beaten on the university campus in 1984, August 22nd. I was a assistant teacher at the University of Liberia. When the students were picketing on the campus, they didn't leave the campus. Dr. Sawyer had been detained, and he was dean of the College of Labor and Fine Arts. And the students were demonstrating on campus. They were not going to classes. They wanted, they were led by Wotapia, Kofi Woods, and all these young students at that time, Corin Joseph Jala, Senator, all of them arguing for the release of their professor. And the military government sent soldiers on campus led by Grady Allison. And I was beating...
They sent soldiers instead of police?
Soldiers! In fact, a PRC member, the late Afrize, stepped on this finger for almost 20 years. I couldn't bend this finger. It took some time before I started bending this finger. So I got reminded, of that violent incident. Students, we teach them on the campus different theories. And sometimes they want to, but they should be practicing it. They should be practicing democratic interactions. They should be disagreeing. It should be all intellectual. Booing is a form of expression. Clapping is a form of expression. Yelling is a form of expression. I was observing election in South Africa one time, and PW de Klerk wanted to speak in a colored township. They got the colored people, the black people, the white people, the Indian people. And there were these ANC young people there. They all had Nelson Mandela's placard, right? They kept it down. As soon as the man got on the podium to speak, some of them were in the tree, they took their placard and they started dancing to it, Mandela, they started dancing to it, he, that man, Nelson Mandela. So I told my colleague, I said, but this is disturbing, this violation of the right of the National Party. The standard bearer is doing something. Why would ANC come in this step? my two colleagues said, no, that freedom of expression. They carry the day.
I mean, they were not violent.
They were
not
so they were dancing with a placard with Mandela smiling.
And they got most of the attention then.
Yeah. So the clerk ended up not speaking, but said, this is an irresponsible party.
I know.
This is an irresponsible party. Just come and look at them. So he didn't.
They took your attention off.
Yeah. And they achieved what they wanted because he was distracted. He didn't speak to the electorate. He kept describing how irresponsible he is.
I wanted you to talk about the consolidation of peace, Councillor. In the form and manner, we're hearing about photo trucking here and there, people removing, certain group of citizens from one location to the other. In the face of consolidating the peace, and people will want to resist others who are not members of the community from registering there or to vote there, which the team may, I don't know what you are saying, infringe on the kind of decision they're going to make or manipulate the kind of decision they're going to make tomorrow. What do you say to that? There's been many calls.
It's a tricky situation. Our constitution provides for freedom of movement. So you can start the movement of people, but the motive of undermining the credibility of whoever is elected in a particular electoral district is what is important, because there could be a very unpopular candidate who trucks people from different areas, and that person is elected, and though the person is elected legitimately, but the person will not have, respect of the people in the electoral district where he's elected because of lack of credibility. They say, well, we didn't elect this man, So the trucking of people undermines the integrity of the electoral process and the outcome that we expect, that people will respect the person who wins, as a true winner. And so it is that, and trucking of people from different areas undermines peace and stability because it stimulates emotions in the areas where people are trucked to, and people may have will start exchanging words in a better way that could then lead to violence. So my advice is that people should not be trucking people to different places. Already the resistance of people. I think the bombing situation I heard on the radio where people are poor people say, "Where are you going?" All of that. So I'm advising the politicians who are doing it to stop it. It's wrong. It's wrong, and it just creates more work for the police that is already challenged, and we have that kind of situation all over the country. Is generalized. It's going to be difficult for the police to cope with that. But political contenders should be responsible enough not to do such a thing, and let me campaign against them. I'm encouraging voters to vote against those kinds of people. Yeah.
Okay, Council. Before we go to the phone lines quickly, what do you stand in the face of conversations and a call for NEC to do a demarcation before election?
I'm opposed to it. I signed the resolution recently by some political parties and 7 or 8 political parties that the result of the census should not be used.
Okay.
Because the only way for new demarcation to be done, first there had to be a threshold set by the national legislature.
Yeah.
Then after that there will be demarcation, and the threshold, the demarcation should all be based on a census result. We have already said that the census was bogus, it was not properly done. We don't agree with it, you know, and the results don't represent the reality. And experts have spoken about it, like Honorable Larry Yonko has spoken about it many times. Yeah, he's a respected expert in our field. Worked there before, you know. Myself, I did some demography at a lower level, but you have to have post-census survey, all kinds of processes. First, even practically, it's not possible because the census result has not been finalized and registration is already going on. Are we going to undo the registration? That would be quite expensive. So I think the registration should go on, and we conduct election after. Conduct a new census after election. But I don't think this census result can be used for demarcation because, you know, already will be compounding the wrong that has already been done.
The CPP has filed a complaint before the Supreme Court, and some people feel it's premature against, what is happening with the biometric voter registration on grounds that, we've not apportioned or we've not done new demarcations than what the census is supposed to be like.
But the census is not even over yet. So assuming that you're going to do demarcation right now, what are you going to use? And we don't want the electoral process that's already delayed, you know, to be further delayed, to provide any justification for this government not to hold the election on time. To say, oh, opposition people are the one that caused the election not to be held on time. I'm opposed to that action because it contradicts our position. Because
the ask of the voter court?
Yeah, to say that there should not be voter registration until the demarcation.
Okay.
The demarcation will be based on the census that we say we don't agree with. The census result that we say we don't agree with.
So it's like coming back to the thing you vomited.
Right, and if CPP feels strongly about it, then let them tell the people not to register.
Okay, that is the OK conversation on 99.5. We're taking few calls now.
They're right.
Yeah.
Tell people not to register. If you feel strongly about it, you know, you say this, I can't do this, then that will be contradictory.
Yeah, so
they should not benefit from a process that is not correct.
What a wisdom. So Councillor Tiawan Gongloe is our guest. Let's take a few calls. 777-700-95, 555-95. This person from the low stand line, the very first person. Welcome. Your name and where do you call from? Hello? Hello?
I'm Cabinet El Sofrana, a member of QRM, and my goal is to make George Weah a one-term Boca Denso. I would like to take this time to appreciate the fifth councillor of our town, Honorable Gongloe, and having sat at my residence this evening listening to your exposé, you spoke well. No, Councillor Gongloe, those petitions moved from Mr. Weah, who are involved into this country, those guys know that they are still delivering people massively. So this is why he found that they are juggling from one community to another community.
Okay, thank you.
This man says they are in office. I feel the only thing we achieve from Mr. Weah is just the prevention of mobility. Other than the prevention of mobility, we have achieved nothing for this man.
Okay, thank you. Let's take more calls. This person from the orange line. Welcome. Your name and where do you call from? Go ahead.
Thank you, Bami and Wema of Mitch. I call it from town this afternoon. Well, Bami, I listened to Councillor Gongloe. Clearly, he is one of the potential candidates who is passionate about better Liberia. Without doubt, he is the passion of integrity and Bami. Bami, you know, like Councillor Gongloe intimated, many Liberians today are regretting the actions of the late president, we are president. And they are patiently waiting, Bami, to correcting those mistakes in the next few months in Ottawa. Bami, if you follow the words of President, we are seeing what this country is running into. International Liberia is always in the news for the bad reason, concerning the bad governance of the city. That's but
quickly,
now,
we don't have time.
Yeah, now, Vanny, you see, now I will speak. The president is in the hands of the CIA in the USA, ongoing serious investigation of their rules and bad governance. Vanny, allegation against the president are allegations that you can feel, touch, and I mean, you can see it all clearly on the wall. Vanny, Liberia is a trusted point for drug trafficking and the way the country, the rule, the majority of that in this country.
Okay, thank you. I'll take this person. Welcome. Your name, where do you call from?
Yeah, good afternoon, Vanny and Togon.
Go ahead, 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is Henry Basin, Vanny, and I join you for this afternoon from Baikan. Vanny, I say thank God for Cllr Gongloe. I was the old man as my boss admire so much to the extent that if possible we may do law to replace him as some of our lawyers. You know, I listened to the council. He was, I think,
oh, you come in.
He's on a plea of legality because I think that's how you go for a lawyer to speak. Most of the time,
okay, we can continue with you. You are coming in broken. I'll take this person quickly.
Hello?
Your name, where do you call from?
Abby M. Jones, calling from the community chat. Starting with issue number 4. So the issue there is serious. First thing I would say is when people come in here and they try to lay allegations, they get proof on you should be able to put check.
What was the allegation?
The method is on.
Oh, your money finished. Sorry. This person, welcome.
yeah, Vanny, how you doing? This is Fantastic from Monrovia.
Fantastic, go ahead.
Yes, and let me thank Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. You know, he made my day because yesterday I listened to CPP press conference. And thank God that he said that document that they rejected the result of the census because they not satisfied with the way census was conducted. He was one of those. And that you can be rejecting something and at the same time comparing another institution of government to go to implement it. There's a contradiction. Then who look vision and then are you looking for confusion? So Councillor Gongloe, thank you so much. Even though it may not be maybe you are opposition, but like you want peace. You are a fair man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's take the very final one, then we go back to Councillor Gongloe. This person, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, your name and where do you call from?
My name is Eric Sa and I join from Asmon Street.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Councillor Gongloe for his elaboration. It comes October 10, 2023, the Liberian people will go to the ballot box to elect Councillor Gongloe. It is people like Councillor Gongloe that will need to be serious transformation to Liberia. We are waiting with the young people to campaign through the less affairs of the Republic of Liberia to see how best we can support Councillor Gongloe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Council, tones of praises for Liberians. Go ahead.
You know, let me say this. One of the young people said they made a mistake and they are prepared to correct it. I hope that's the situation. And we encourage them to correct it. Because, you know, this country is recorded in history as the first independent country in Africa. And we were supposed to be the shining example to the world that black people are capable of governing themselves. We have failed to do so. Countries that gained independence long after us are doing much better. One of them is Botswana. I always sing the praises of Botswana. Botswana is a landlocked country, which means it doesn't have a sea coast. And 70% of the land mass is all desert. Only 30% is available for agricultural activities. On that 30%, Botswana is raising cattle and exporting meat to South Africa, Mozambique, and other areas. Then it has only diamond. And out of that diamond and the meat that it is exporting, Botswana is one of the richest countries in Africa. It's among the fastest growing economies in the world. Why? Because it is is recorded as the least corrupt country in Africa.
That's the only reason.
That is the major reason. Good management, leadership that is associated with integrity. You know, so Botswana that is naturally so poor, because if you got 70% of your country, that's we have green forest from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas, soil, fertile soil everywhere. We don't only have diamond, we have gold, we have uranium, we have iron ore, and you know, look at the rubber farm, the oil plantation, or whatever. Our soil is so rich that, in fact, we should be a rice exporter. And one of my plans when I become president is to mechanize rice production, because Liberia used to export rice in the 1800s. At that time, nobody was going to farm, to school. There was no mining company. There was no factory. Everybody was in Nigeria producing rice. But that factory of production is no more there. That factory is now in the city. Is urbanized. And so we need to replace that factory of production labor with machines. And when we mechanize rice production, I can see Liberia becoming a rice exporter, and instead of spending $200 million to import rice, we will be making $500 to $600 million United States dollars as revenue from exporting rice, and Liberia will get richer. So I am saying Liberia is a rich country, but we chose to be poor because on election day, we'll vote for bags of rice, we'll vote for money, we'll vote for liquor, instead of voting for the plans that people have and checking their track record. And I'm appealing to all Liberian voters this year to have to clean the wealth that Liberia has enjoyed by casting the ballots for those who have good plans and have the track record.
Councillor Tiawan Gongloe, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure, and thank you.
After a long time.
Yeah, after a long time. So let's take this.
Okay, it took me a long time. Well, at least I fulfilled it. Okay.
Everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace. They want some trouble. Crime rate on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up. No justice for the poor. The way we living, we treating one another unfair. I love the way we living, we treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and greed. We pray, ask and love another Moses. Cause all we have is pharaohs, yeah. In our sufferings, it's like they're making business of, yeah. The rich get richer, and the poor.
This is 99.5 OK Conversation. Choco Repo and Valen Douglas. Just listen to a firing conversation. A presidential aspirant, Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. We hope the Liberians can make the rightful choice this October. Next in Ghana, suppose President George Weah is expected very shortly to talk to us. Sticker still.
Slavery, but ain't no more than time like this with children and slaves. We're fighting the war now with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters. We're diggers of grace while we're still living. Don't judge a book by its covers. Looks can be deceiving. Whenever the sun shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? The way we living, we treating one another unfair. The way we living, we treating one another unfair.
Yes, indeed. Let me say happy belated birthday to you, Jimmy Wilson. That's our own Jimmy Wilson. A happy blessed birthday to you, Joel.